Hey there, you amazing patrons. It's X, and I'm here along with no Felicia, and I have a Kyle with me, and I also have Aaron Rabbi from the Embrace the Void podcast and Philosophers in Space. So welcome to the show, sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your stay so far.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. We've been having a great time.
Let's see. Yeah. This is the Utah Outcasts Secret Patron Show, where we are generous enough to share this stuff with you for at least $1 a month. I mean, that's really not that much. It's like $0.25 a week. You can afford it. Come on. So what we're doing this week, we didn't get around to last week because we were too busy talking about Jim Baker buckets and the potential of what kind of food we're going to be eating in a couple of weeks. We're going to finish up the Book of Mormon 30-point challenge for skeptics that we were planning on doing. And Aaron's not privy to this because he's not a patron, so he didn't get to catch the other two. So what we have out here is we have a Mormon apologist that has a website called My Life by Go Goff that wrote an article in 2016 about. Let me give you the synopsis here. I was going through my notes when I found the paper that my trainer from my mission gave me. There are only two options when it comes to the Book of Mormon. Yeah, I just love it. I love it when people are like, "There's only two." It is either a true record and Joseph is a prophet who was called to translate it, or it is a forgery and Joseph Smith wrote it and was a con man who made it up.
Yeah, I don't usually like false dichotomies, but this one's pretty straightforward. It's
it
B.
is.
Just B.
I'm pretty sure we know the answer to this one already.
Well, I mean, I guess
fast.
I guess he can state it this way. It's like he either author or not author. You know, that I'm like, okay, that's great. But was it a forgery? Not forgery. You could do it that way, but you can't say God wrote it, true record, Joseph was a prophet, translated it, and you just can't fucking do it. So anyway, it says what. So which is it, true record or forgery? Well, let's look into what it would take to write the Book of Mormon. And this person invited us to take a 30-point challenge to write the Book of Mormon, and we've done an hour on this fucking article so far.
Was there get cut abs at some point in this conversation? Like you had to do a bunch of crunches around about 10 or 11?
So just to give you the basic outline here, like the very first thing that he says here, here's the challenge, can you accept it? Write a history of ancient Tibet covering a period from 600 BC to 400 AD. Why ancient Tibet? Because you know no more about Tibet than Joseph Smith knew about ancient America. And that's where you'd be wrong, because Tibet's an interesting country.
There's
and like also
history,
isn't this
and we can read it.
And this is a self-burn, right? Like, I agree.
It really is.
He didn't know anything about ancient America, like, and the things he said were wrong.
Yeah.
You're right. If I tried to write something about Tibet, it would also be terrible, and I wouldn't start a religion around it.
No shit. So number 21 on the one we're doing here, we're going to finish up 21 to 30. Okay. Your record is to fulfill many Bible prophecies, even in the exact manner in which it shall come forth, to whom delivered its purposes and accomplishments. Fuck your writing. Fuck your writing right there.
Yeah, fuck your writing.
At some point between 1 and 21, they just decided to switch to ye olde English, or like
that's exactly how the Book of Mormon's written. So
that's a Mormon.
To obscure how like this thing fulfilled a bunch of things that someone else made up.
Yeah, no, that's totally a Mormon thing. But it's really, really easy. Look, prophecy is really easy when you're writing it in retrospect.
Right? Like I watched a bunch of alt-writers prophecy that someone was going to get shot in America, and then turns out some people got shot in America, and now they're like, see, we called it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, but and most prophecies are self-fulfilling. Because you say something's going to happen, and then somebody goes, well, I guess it's got to happen.
Okay, so number 22. Call down an angel from heaven in the middle of the day and have him, why not her, bear testimony to 4 honest, dignified citizens of your community that the record is the word of God. Okay, since we're making this up, yes, I have an angel come down and say those things to the 4 people I picked.
I like the middle of the day part. It's like, get an angel to take time off work. Right? We're not talking in the afternoon. We're not talking in like on a weekend in the middle of a work day to come down and explain some shit.
Well, no, that does make complete sense, because that is their work hours, and this is what they're supposed to do. They're not gonna do this on their day off. Are you serious?
Weekend witnessing, come on.
I got a call from one of my employees earlier today, and I was just like, he's like, I need your help doing something. I'm like, I'm off for the weekend. Fuck you.
Imagine if that were God, though. You're like, come on, no.
Come on, God. No, fuck you.
I'm already high, God. I'm not going down there right now. It'll kill my buzz. You know it'll kill my buzz because they'll try to kill me, and I don't want to try to get killed right now by some stupid monkeys.
These witnesses must bear the angel's testimony to the world, not for profit or gain. Fuck you.
It's not hard. I mean, yeah, sure. So, how hard? I mean, really, how hard is it to convince a small group of people to commit a fraud from which they're all going to profit?
Is it weird that the religion that was started by a con man is a little obsessed about people making profit or like conning people out of like? Sure, then angel's gonna try to grift on you.
Let's see. But under great sacrifice and severe persecution, even to their deathbeds, you must put that testimony to the test by coming an enemy to these men. You know, it's really funny how most of the original witnesses, like at the beginning of the Book of Mormon, that said they saw these plates and everything. Most of them were excommunicated by the time when Joseph was about to be killed.
Sure, because they later all came out and said, "Yeah, no, really, we really didn't."
Well, it's not even that. They're like, Joseph was fucking my wife. I wanted to beat his ass, and they're like, "Yeah, you're excommunicated."
And am I reading this right? Are they suggesting that like if someone comes down and confirms your theories, you should torture them to death to see if they're serious?
Sure, yeah.
That's what you do with angels, right? I mean,
it's kind of delusional because I mean, first you're talking about committing a fraud, and then you have to then be persecuted for committing a fraud. That's kind of what happens.
Okay.
These people's solution to bluffing is to torture you. I'm never playing poker with Mormons. Jesus.
That's okay. You have to have one solo Mormon by himself to play poker. Otherwise, they would never play the game with you. If you have more than one, they won't drink or smoke or, gamble with you. But if you get one by themselves, it's really funny because you go across the border to Wendover, Nevada, which is like just about like 80 minutes outside of Salt Lake. Just about every car in the parking lot has Utah plates on it. So, all right, number 23, thousands of great men, intellectual giants, national and international personalities, and scholars for 165 years must accept your history and its teachings, even to the point of laying down their life rather than deny their testimonies of it. Who are these great men, intellectual giants, national and international personalities, and scholars that believe that the Book of Mormon was actually history? Oh, I got a great hint for you. It's none of them.
Yeah, none of them. I don't know. Steve Young?
We're going to go football player?
I don't know.
my philosophy brain wants to be like, well, isn't this a logical fallacy? But you're right. Like, let's just call them on it. Like, sure. Name 5 people who are intellectual giants, right? Just go ahead and do it, and we'll see how this goes.
Sure. Scholars, and then international personalities,
and then we'll give you like 10 who went, no, this is bullshit.
And how many of them laid down their life rather than denied it?
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on. Are we talking about like biblical timescales? Because really, hey, they eventually died. So,
is there a Mormon Newton that I don't know about? Like,
I'm pretty sure there was somebody named Newton who was once a Mormon.
There was a Spencer C. Kimball who looked like Yoda.
Are you telling me you don't know the story of Newton the Mormon?
He's fucking with you because I don't even know this one.
I feel like some really funny music should start up.
I do have a soundboard. I could start something up.
Yeah.
How about
this? Oh, come on. Newton the Mormon was fantastic.
He was mediocre at best. Are you kidding me?
That's true. He kept trying to throw apples back up into the tree.
Newton, this is Newton right here. Hang on, this is Mormon Newton.
Okay, listen up. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero to the end of the night. He's got to be strong, and he's got to be fast, And he's got to be fresh from the fight.
Fuck you, Kyle, for sitting this to
Anybody?
me.
Footloose, Bonnie Tyler song? Kevin Bacon drives a tractor in a game of chicken? Nothing? Wow.
Commitment to the joke.
Yeah. All right, let's see. What's the next one here? You must include with this written record, this is number 24, this promise. And when ye shall... I'm skipping this one. Fuck that. I'm not reading the whole quote. Number 25, missionaries must bear record to the world for the next 165 years that they know the record to be true because they put the promise to the test and found it to be true. That's not how truth works.
That's really not how it works. Just because you can...
Oh, hang on.
Years.
We got Mr. Philosophy here. How does truth work?
Go for it.
I'm just like, the Hindus are like 165 years. Like, bitch, please. Like, doesn't prove fucking anything, right? There's Buddhist monks who've been around for thousands of years. They actually met the guy, right? He was actually a real person too. It's like, you're not proving anything.
Yeah, that's one thing I find hilarious is like, somebody on a local radio show was talking about people they would want to meet if they could meet anybody before they die, or like when they die. And he was like, I want to meet Buddha. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And he's like, yeah, because at least we could prove that he was around. We can't do the same with Jesus. And I'm like, well, there goes half your market right there.
I mean, missionaries bear the word of Tom Cruise every day. This is not compelling as like, there's a long list of people who have missionaries.
Yeah.
It's easy to get missionaries. I can get you a missionary by like 3 p.m. and like paint it any color you want.
It's
just
not
slap some.
Not hard to do. That's really not hard to do.
Aaron just goes out and picks the most mediocre little like 19-year-old kid he can grab. He's like, it's like the whole meme where he's like smacks the missionary, smacks the young kid. I could fit so many memes into this fucking kid right here.
Right. I could do a Megyn Kelly and paint the missionary black. Right. Ooh. That would really stand out.
Topical.
Yeah.
Too far.
All right, number 26.
If y'all want to pay me $50 million to leave the show now, it's fine. I'm happy to check out at this point.
Okay, number 26, over 52,900. Well, that's a oddly specific number here.
Over specifics. No, it's good. Go ahead.
Over this many number.
901. I'm a believer now.
Competent salesmen must be so sold on your book that they will gladly give up 2 or more years of their lives to take it. Okay, so it's missionaries.
Oh yeah, they're talking about, but they called them salesmen.
That's fucked up.
I mean,
that's the higher earning bracket of missionaries.
Just think about that for a second.
They not only have to pay their own way during these years, but return bearing testimony that the time spent will remain as one of the highlights of their lives. Well, you know what? Getting out, and I'm not saying all missionaries get to go see foreign countries, but you know, even if you're there for religious reasons, being like ensconced in another culture for 2 years has got to be a pretty fucking cool thing that happens in their life, you know, especially when they've lived in Utah their whole life.
Sure.
If Book of Mormon is any indicator, it seems like it's a lot of fun.
I've known a lot of people who kind of approached it in that way. It's like, hey, I'll get to go somewhere cool. I'll get to go have a life experience for 2 years.
Except
and then
you won't
after
be able to shower by yourself.
After 2 months of having to live with another really shitty person, where they're like, nope, you can't go to the bathroom alone because you might give it a tug.
Yeah. Nope. From what I gather, the Jewish heritage trip is much better. It's all expenses paid, and they're deliberately trying to get you to touch each other's junk so that you'll make more Jews.
Yeah.
So maybe y'all should update on that. Like, I think that could be so, not y'all, but like, you know, Mormons should get on top of that, like that Old Testament style.
Here's the real comedy with Mormons, especially here in Utah, is that they consider Kyle and I Gentiles.
Yes. Really?
They have adopted.
Aren't y'all Gentiles? What? Wait, I'm confused now. I've lost the thread.
Yeah, don't worry. So we're the Mormons.
Mormons believe themselves to be the lost tribe of Israel.
Oh, right. Okay, I see. Right.
They're so
Hebes.
Never mind.
Yeah, they're American Hebes. There you go. That's a good term for it. That's your word. I'm not allowed to say that. Oh, we're gonna get striked on that one. Let's see. Number 27.
Junos.
Number. Oi. It's so humid. Sorry, fucking old Comedy Central joke there. Goddamn. Number 27, your book must not only raise the standards of millions of people, but do it in such a way that they become one of the great moral, ethical, and dynamic marvels of the day.
It really just
they must become world renowned.
Interesting word choice.
You first, because that hasn't happened yet.
I mean, like, dynamic suggests that, like, what? He was really flashy in his style, like it moves on the dance floor. Like, what are we talking? Like, what kind of like?
I don't know.
It excites in a closed environment.
I mean, if we're talking about Joe Smith, I mean, his sideburning game was on point.
Fair enough.
So, and the popped collar.
He had multiple popped collars.
Really?
I bet
He was like 3 popped collars deep with killer sideburns.
The intros to some of these are really weird. Like, your book must only raise the standards. What does it mean by raise the standards of millions? Like, raise their standard of living? Like, raise their quality as persons? Like,
and I love how he's trying to consider everybody that's Mormon is like this. It's like, fuck you, man. All right, number 28. For the next 20 years, you must watch those that follow you, your family, and the dearest of your loved ones persecuted, driven time after time from their homes. Well, there's really interesting history about this, and I suggest you go listen to Bryce Blankenagle's Naked Mormonism podcast to hear why they were driven from multiple communities, because Joe Smith was a fucking prick. He couldn't...
My understanding, there were good people on both sides.
Sure.
Oh, no.
They were great. There were great people on both sides.
And it was the media. The media stirring up a lot of conflict between people. Well, and like, if the media would stop doing that, people wouldn't get bombed so much.
That is true, though, because Joe Smith had a running fight with like a couple of newspaper writers.
Yep, nothing changes.
Nearby the towns there. And he's like, I'm the fucking press. I'm going to make you look like a fool every fucking day of your life. And it's like, until you start acting like a decent human being, I'm going to keep calling you out on this shit.
I need to find it. I should have like permanently saved this. But there is a fantastic newspaper article from a reporter that interviewed. They wrote a detailed interview with Joseph Smith when they were like camped out in Nauvoo, Illinois.
Oh, you mean the Garden of Eden? Yeah, okay, gotcha there.
No, the Garden of Eden's down in Missouri.
Oh, it's Missouri, Jackson, Missouri.
Yeah. No, this was when they like had a compound in Illinois, and this reporter wrote, and you don't see this style much anymore, but he was making notes about how he was like sitting in his chair with his like feet kicked up, and you know how he was being a total douche.
You couldn't take pictures back then, so you had to paint the picture with the words.
Right.
So,
I mean,
let's see, number 29. This one is one of the most incredulous ones right now, right here, where he says, "You must gain no wealth from your work, but many times lose all that you have. Like those that believe you, you must submit yourself to the vilest persecution, and finally, after 20 years of this, give your own life in a very savage and brutal manner." You mean his prison break?
How many of these are just another version of you have to get beat up for believing a thing?
It's just funny that he's saying go from you must gain no wealth from your work. He was living high on the hog for every standard of living back then. Anyway, 30. Let's finish this fucking thing up here. He says, start right now and produce this record, which covers 1,000 years of history, doing it not in the peaceful atmosphere of your community, but under the most trying of circumstances, which includes being driven from your home several times. Wait a minute. He wrote the book before all the driving from his home and all that other shit happened. He wrote that when he was still in New York, did he not? Am I wrong here? He was still upstate New York, and he was writing this with his buddy that was scribing it in the other room, and he was reading it from his hat that he put the petrified wood into, that he thought it was a seer stone. And Man, you guys have a wacky fucking book. I'm talking to the Mormons here, so.
When you take out a lot of the wackiness, though, I'm just sort of realizing how many of these apply to Socrates. Like the not getting paid and getting persecuted and like, you know, if you took out all the terror, like maybe did they just get confused and think that John Smith was just Socrates, but like recent? Like
now here's the thing that's really going to bake people's noodles. Here's that maybe that's the human condition. Maybe we are to suffer. You know, maybe everybody suffers. Maybe to be alive is to experience suffering. And the only reason we put such a high importance on being happy and having a good time is because it washes away the dull moments of, you know, wanting to kill yourself kind of things. I'm sorry, taking a dark turn here, but I'm just saying that it seems like if Socrates was facing this and Joseph Smith was facing this, I have faced not so much persecution, but the matter of like, wow, life is kind of garbage most of the time. You know?
Right. Time to embrace the void, buddy.
Yep.
You're right there.
We are going to make a t-shirt because Felicia said
scream at it, laugh at it.
Felicia said when she was on your guys' podcast recently, she said we just laugh at the void. I'm like, that's a good fucking slogan.
Yeah.
You guys embrace it. We just look at it, stare at it, and just go, yeah, we can't.
There are many options.
Right. Like Tyrion Lannister taking a piss off the wall.
Right.
Please have your book completed. Talk to a friend into mortgaging his farm to raise money to have it printed all in 60 days.
Really not hard to do. People do that kind of shit all the time.
Hey, Kyle, you wrote a book, and did you have to get a friend to mortgage his farm to fucking have it printed?
No, but I probably could have.
We have ebooks now.
You know a guy with a farm? It's fucking awesome.
No, I'm pretty sure I could find a guy with a farm and I could talk him into it.
Yeah, you are pretty convincing. I mean, we've been doing this for 3 years. Anyway, thanks, patrons.
I mean, all I have to really do is promise them a cut of the profits when they come in, because they're all about that.
And that sounds like the exact same thing that happened with this mortgaging his farm thing. It's like, oh, well, you know, once this book gets big, I'll gladly pay you back and then some.
Oh, yeah.
And keep in mind that he was later excommunicated also. So just keep that in mind.
It's I'll gladly pay you on Tuesday for a cult
for a
today.
Hamburger today, yeah. Oh, I love Wimpy. Anyway, that's it for the Patron Show, guys. We'll catch you next week with another one. We've gone way too fucking long. We'll see you then. Bye.